Hello everybody, it's been a while, but Nihao Putaojiu is back. So if you're following my show, I'm pretty sure that you like to try wine, to taste wine, but I'm also pretty sure that you like to eat food. So today we're going to cover a very important aspect of wine, the food and wine pairing. The wine culture is very linked to the food culture. Indeed, wine is a daily drink in many countries, especially the ones that have been producing wine for a long time. Thus, in those countries, wine is a daily drink and is often enjoyed with food. Choosing the right wine to go with your food is extremely important. Indeed, if you choose the wrong one, it's going to totally ruin your experience. So food and wine pairing is all about finding harmony in between the food and the wine. Basically, your wine needs to make your food taste better, and your food needs to make your wine taste better as well. Food and wine pairing is a very complex thing, and you will need to take into account a lot of parameters to choose your wine and your food. The way that you prepare your ingredients is going to affect the flavor, the texture, and the aromas of your food. For instance, the way that you cut your ingredients, the size, the shape, etc., is going to influence the texture of your food. In the same way, the way you cook, the cooking style of your food is going to obviously influence the taste of your ingredients. For instance, the intensity of cooking, the duration of the cooking, all that is going to change the taste, the aromas, the texture, the flavor of your food. And eventually, the seasoning that you're going to choose to put on your food is going to be extremely important for the taste of it. If you put some salt, if you put some pepper, if you put some spices, if you have some sauce in your dishes, all that is going to drastically change the taste of your food. So you need to take all that into account when you choose your wine.
Y'all pass me that bottle.
So from the different attributes that your dish is going to have, you're going to be able to deduce what kind of wine is going to go along with your food. So you have many ways to choose which wine will go with your food. So the first one is the one of the terroir. The terroir, we saw it before, is the influence of the climate, of the soil, on what you're going to grow in a specific place. So for the wine, it's going to be the grape, but it can be tomatoes, it can be carrots, whatever. So the terroir pairing is pretty simple. It's an assumption that one wine for one place is going to have high chances to go along with different products made in the same place. You have many examples of that kind of terroir pairing. For instance, a choucroute from Alsace is going to pair well with a white wine from Alsace. A cassoulet from the southwestern France is going to pair well with a red wine from this area. Likewise, the oysters from the Loire regions are going to pair perfectly with a muscadet. You have many different examples. The second type of pairing consists into taking a wine and a dish that are going to go along together in terms of tasting profile. Let's take the example of a dessert. A dessert, usually you're going to have a lot of sugar in it. So to go along with the sugar of the dessert, you can choose a sweet wine. So you're going to have sugar plus sugar, and it's going to go along together. The last type of pairing actually consists into taking one wine and one dish which are going to be in opposition in terms of tasting profile. For instance, if you take some spicy food, it's going to attack your palate. And to go along with it, you can choose a rather sweet wine which is going to come and relieve your palate. So these are the basics of food and wine pairing. If you follow those rules, you will avoid choosing a wine that is not going to fit with your food. However, there is something very important that you need to keep in mind for food and wine pairing. Both food and wine are all about pleasure. So the main rule is going to take a wine that you like to go along with some food that you like. For instance, if you take the case of my family, most people like to have some very strong red wine to go with cheese during a dinner. However, if you look at the theory, usually cheese goes well with white wine or some very light red wine. It's the way that they enjoy it. So don't forget that the first rule is to be able to have pleasure with your wine and have pleasure with your food. Thank you very much for watching this episode of Nihao Putaojiu. So today we studied the basics of food and wine pairing. Next time we're going to go deeper into the mechanism of the relationship between wine and food by studying some example of Western food and how to pair it with wine. So stay tuned, keep in touch until the next episode, and obviously don't forget to bring wine.